Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including Rick and Morty, which we'll be getting into right now. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Michelle Anderer.
Hello.
And Sarah Potter.
Hello.
Back for more Rick and Morty Season 4. This week was Episode 3, One Crew Over the Crewcoo's Morty. That aired last night on Adult Swim. We talk Rick and Morty every week that it's new here at the Overly Animated Podcast. Find us at overlyanimated.com. Search for us on your favorite podcast app by searching Rick and Morty Overly Animated. Subscribe to us to not miss any of our episode discussions. And we also post our podcast to our YouTube at youtube.com/overlyanimated. Could check out our podcast from the first 2 episodes of Season 4 of Rick and Morty. Still very excited the show is back, and we have a interesting episode to get into this week. Make sure you've seen One Crew Over the Crewcoo's Morty. Spoilers, and then get back. Pretty terrible title. I don't know, but
yeah, I was gonna say you were doing really well saying it correctly.
I didn't even realize there are 2 crews in there until recently, so now I just got to make sure I say them both. But just leveraging the full use of changing things in the title on this one. Okay, Michelle, what do you think of this episode?
Oh my god. I love this episode so much.
Yay.
I did not watch any of the previews going in. It was a total surprise from the title. I was like, well, I don't even care what that means. I'll just watch it. And this is legit my favorite episode of the season so far. I mean, there's only 3 episodes to choose from, so it's not a very radical statement, but just the ever unraveling of these heists upon heists, and then the ultimate heist reveal from Rick, and the fact that I love that they only seeded the script thing about halfway through, so it wasn't like you were going to expect it to go anywhere because it wasn't at the very beginning of the episode to tip you off. I think all of that was crafted really, really well. And it's just so ridiculous, and Rick hates heists so much, but actually maybe he doesn't hate heists. He was just mad about Morty wanting to do a thing without him, and he got mad, and it's just so on brand for him to take it this far to get what he wants. And oh man, I think this is a really good episode. I like it a lot. It's so silly, but it's a pleasure to watch it unravel.
Okay, that's a good description. So silly, but a pleasure to watch it unravel. Nice from Michelle there. Sarah, you just finished this episode?
Yeah.
What are your reactions?
Completely on brand. I finished this episode about 10 minutes ago.
Okay, how are you feeling?
What the fuck did I just watch?
That's always a good reaction. Yeah.
I think this. I don't know what I just watched. I know that it was really fast. There were gags every 2 seconds in this episode. It never stopped, which I guess is a good thing. But also, it just got so silly that I don't know how I feel about it. It feels like it went a little too silly for my taste. I think there were some really good individual gags in this episode, and I really liked the payoff, and I really liked the stinger a lot. I think, and it just feels really silly and weird, and maybe I have a feeling the episode will grow on me as we record this podcast, as I begin to process this.
Yeah, okay. It's a lot to process. I think that's a good anti it being great take, is if it's a little too silly. I could see people feeling that way. I really love this episode though. This is also my favorite of the season.
Yay!
Yeah, I was the experience that I think of watching it the first time, this is the best late Sunday night watching experience. Is just hilarious. The whole experiencing all the reveals and all the nonsense. It's I think, and then on subsequent viewings, it's gonna happen, so some things aren't as funny, but I still even on the 3rd time, I was still dying at the script stuff at the end. There's just so much good stuff here, and this is I think my main thing is this is what I want to see from Rick and Morty in terms of
yes.
taking this. It's okay, we're gonna make fun of heist movies. Let's take this to the logical extreme and then like 10 layers beyond the logical extreme. Like I felt like this absolute zaniness is like what was missing from the first two episodes to a certain extent. Like episode 2 has like emotional layers and stuff. This episode doesn't, but I feel like we didn't go far enough yet this season. And this episode like goes so far and it's really successful. I mean, there's parts like it gets to the point where literally just Rick and the robot are just going back and forth about like, no, I programmed you. And like, it's not even
it's so funny.
I don't know. I'm like worn out by that part of the episode,
but it's so funny.
But like, it's also like, yeah, this is what we should be doing. I love it. Yeah. I feel like I hadn't seen this from Rick and Morty in a while, that it just can just go this crazy and out there. And, I love more episodes like this. I mean, this is similar to the previous 2 episodes in that it's an isolated episode. It's largely just Rick and Morty. You know, we're not expanding the crew at all. It's very season 1-y. And we're also like bringing back another character. So it's kind of still doing all the things we were like maybe a little worried about. In terms of, in this new age of Rick and Morty with a lot of episodes to come, are they just going to have these one-off episodes that aren't as smart and just repeat characters? And like, this episode is all that, but it's also amazing. So I think it shows that they can really succeed within this formula.
Well, it honestly reminds me a lot of the Lawnmower Dog episode, because that was all about just like Scary Terry and going into people's dreams. And it was like jokes on top of jokes and just like like you were saying, Dylan, so many layers of making fun of a genre that they take it like almost too far, but that's what makes it so funny. And that is like a very classic Rick and Morty thing to do, but it is like, it's still really funny to watch. I don't think it's a bad thing at all, as long as it's done well. I
actually thought this episode was more like Total Recall, which is, funnily enough, the other episode with Mr. Poopy Butthole. But it just like, I think the reason this feels sillier is that Total Recall is built on like a sci-fi idea, and this is built on a critique of heist movies. And that's just like, it just feels different as a viewing experience to me, just because I expect this show to be about sci-fi stuff. And I think there was a little bit less of that here in terms of the premise of this episode. But I do think like everything here is really funny on its own.
Yeah, I think you guys instantly hit on the 2 best comparisons, so that's pretty good. Yeah, Lawnmower Dog, that's an Inception parody, so that's like it's very similar to this. Is that we're parodying this kind of like genre of movies, and that's also like we're going deeper into layers. Total Recall, I think, is more similar in that like Lawnmower Dog has like a whole nother plot. This episode, I think, and one reason I'm really high on is there's only like the A plot on it. There's no side plots.
Oh man, that's true. I feel like it's been forever since we've had one.
It's been a while, yeah. And Total Recall is one that's similar to that, and it's also one where there's like a lot of, I think, like reveals. I really want to rewatch Total Recall, honestly.
Total Recall is literally reveal after reveal.
It's just like who's an alien and stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's over and over and over.
Right, so it's that's also pretty similar, like just reveals on reveals. And you know, I think this episode's as successful as Total Recall, which I think might be the best episode of the show, or it's either that or the one from last season, the Olympic Atlantis. But you know, those are successful. Those are 2 of the top 5 episodes of the show, in my opinion. So I think like doing a similar formula is a good idea with this. And I mean, that's like, what even was our last episode with no other side plots? I don't even know. Did the finale of last season have side? I don't know.
I thought it had one, but I'm not sure. I'd have to like actually look at all the descriptions.
It might be Rick Lantis mix up, but
well, no, Rick Lantis had like 3 like.
That's true. It also that had different things. They're kind of all in service of the same plot. But I agree. This is like silly, and this is parodying, you know, like the Ocean's movies, whereas the Lawnmower Dog's parodying Inception. And I guess like this episode, it is really silly at times. I also think it's like very smart in its structure, because what really sells it for me is like there's one time when there's one of the reveals, like when they do the split screen type thing and with the music, and one of them like gives the genesis of the intro scene. So it's like you just get full context for how the episode started, which was seemingly just a random thing. And then with this, the reveal that it was all Rick's plan to disillusion Morty with this script that he was working on. It's only really mentioned twice in the episode.
Yeah, they really
but it was really
back. It was nice.
Yeah, there's
like,
one.
That we wouldn't anticipate it.
Yeah,
they mentioned it 3 times. Like they mentioned it once at the very beginning. They mentioned it once in the middle. Then they mentioned it at the end with Netflix. It was a perfect 3B.
I don't think they did mention it at the beginning.
It wasn't like there's one scene when
it's like when they're at the bar and he has.
No, there was one time before the bar.
Yeah.
Where was that?
It's like when they're walking into HeistCon and Morty's like, "This is good inspiration for the script I'm working on." So it's towards the beginning.
They did see it at the beginning.
It's small
okay.
though, yeah. But then there's like one of the reveals. Morty's just working on the script.
Yeah,
like,
I know. I love that one so much.
It's like, this
Just
isn't
typing
reveal
on
like
paper.
anything. Yeah.
I think the best part is actually writing a script. I'm like, oh, Morty like can write a script. Like that's like what?
So stupid. He's like a 10-year-old kid. Like, this is so dumb. It fits this character. But yeah, and then we're bringing it all around with this at the end, and it's like we're making all this meaningful, like, and just the scene of like Summer and Beth's lines in the like flashback to how Rick came up with the idea. They're just so funny. Those are two of the funniest
Summer's
lines.
so good.
Summer gave this
have
this
Netflix
deadpan.
deals.
Yeah,
It's a very achievable goal. You better watch out. You could lose him.
everyone's so it's also serious and harsh.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't been on any other podcasts. I just want to say my biggest complaint about the season is I want more Summer because Summer is my favorite character in the entire show, and she's not in enough of it.
Yeah, so 3 episodes in, I mean, we don't need to spend a lot of time on this, but last season was like the Summer joins the crew season, and this episode they've completely backed off that.
I hate it because I think the crew worked better with her. I think she's amazing.
Yeah, I think they're more used to writing Rick and Morty, and they have a successful formula like that. So the idea is, go to the successful formula. But like, I also thought Summer brought a lot to the table. Maybe it takes some time to get into a rhythm that she's in. But
I have some high hopes that there's like a very specific reason why they're holding off on Summer, because they know that they can write her well, and they have.
I mean, like, one of the best plots in the entire show is the car with her. It's like that's one of the best plots they've ever written.
People love that one, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a reason. There's and we
like
just don't know what it is.
Coming. I don't know.
I mean, I honestly hope so, because otherwise it's like I won't buy that they just feel more comfortable writing Rick and Morty alone, because like the show has surpassed that already. This is season 4. This isn't season 2, Yeah,
I think in their heads they're going back to the basics, but they're honestly not, because they're still iterating on what they've had before. So
yeah.
I'm sure we'll see Summer on an adventure at some point. And she's been in the mix despite not being exactly with them. This episode she's very sidelined though, but does almost steals the show with her and Beth with that. It's more just the delivery. I don't know. Okay, yeah. So that's my point being. It's like it's very silly, but also just feels smart with how it's constructed. Like it all really comes together, I think, at the end. And then there's this just random stinger with Mr. Poopy Bottle. I don't even think Mr. Poopy Bottle is one of the funniest parts of the episode. Like I think he was fine,
which is pretty impressive.
But
it is impressive.
Yeah, I don't know. He was like this absolutely standout character in his first episode until Rick on. Then I feel like he's been. I mean, they haven't used him a lot, but he was in one stinger and it was great, and then he's in another stinger and it's like, okay, we're gonna keep doing this. And now here he is, and I think he was good, but I like that he was not the whole focus of the episode.
Yeah,
agreed.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about like this. We had a Meeseeks episode in episode 1, Mr. Poopy Bottle episode. Are we just going to keep doing stuff like that? But I don't know. It's more just like we'll see how they handle it. I think it's been good so far. Yeah, I think on the official podcast they talked about how they don't want to like do a second episode. The writers were like encouraged, like we don't want to do a sequel Meeseeks or Mr. Poopy Bottle episode or anything. Like they don't start there, so I think like Mr. Poopy Bottle just came in organically to the idea. It's like I think it's
probably better.
I think the writer of this episode was like Dan came up with just like Mr. Poopy Bottle is one of the people Rick had worked with on a mission in the past, so that's how he got worked in.
I mean, I hope they don't take that like for like any story. I know they're not really like telling any like real deep stories this season, and they've been kind of trending away from that in general. But I hope they don't take that with like sequels to like character stuff from episodes. Like I just don't want them to do that. Cause it's fine like not making entire gag episodes again. Like we don't need Mr. Meeseeks episode 2, but like maybe I feel like we almost got there with somehow the toilet episode with like Rick making fun of himself at the end. I want more stuff like that with ends of episodes.
So you want them to build on stuff.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they're necessarily saying no serialization.
But I mean, it's a line you have to ride. If you're choosing not to like make sequels to things, you have to make sure you're also keeping a through line between all your episodes at the same time if you want to do that.
Yeah, and I think these 3 episodes to start with have been as far from serialized as we could be. We also kind of know that they're going to do something story-wise at some point, so...
Because they've kind of said that.
Yeah. They've basically said that, and it's...
We just don't know when it's going to actually drop. It's a mystery.
Yeah, we don't... And it might not be in the first 5, because I think they probably view it as a 10-episode season, so it's possible we go through 5 episodes with nothing, with no plot stuff, which could be interesting. I don't know. I mean, we're coming off a really strong episode here, though, so I'm feeling good about our structure... To this
Only
point,
95 more to go.
Yeah. So 67 more to go, you know.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I did it wrong.
100 total, not 100 more.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. That's a lot of episodes. That's great. Okay. Well, I don't even know how to approach discussing this, but I feel like this episode is like a first half where like Rick is we go up to the Miles Knightley stuff where the heist con and like Rick and the whole reveal thing, the sequence of reveals with Rick and Miles Knightley, and then Rick wins, and then it's like, oh, then we have to face off against Heistatron, and that's the second half of the episode. And they assembled a crew the first time, and then they assemble another crew for the second half of the episode. I think like the first half of the episode, like very successful with everything it's doing, because you're still like getting used to the premise and everything, and all the reveals are really good. And then I think, if there's a criticism of the episode, I think we might get bogged down a little bit with the Heistatron stuff at some point. Like it's just a lot on top of each other. But I do like that. Like I like that we keep going
I like
further.
It.
Yeah.
At that point, it's like you're so lost in just like the motions of a heist that like it doesn't make sense anymore. But that's because like it keeps getting more and more, like all the heists build on top of each other for more complexity. So when it gets to like a showdown between Rick and the robot, just like yelling back and forth at each other the same thing for 2 hours, it feels like a satisfying culmination of the whole thing, honestly. So I don't mind that it's kind of like bonkers. It's like, well, at that point, if you're gonna keep going with this, it has to go somewhere kind of insane.
But I absolutely hate heist movies.
Oh,
this episode's perfect for you. It's all about how they suck.
So by the end of the episode, I was just completely just done with the heist. I just wanted to see what the payoff was. Like I can't sit through heist movies. I just can't, because they're all just so stupid. They can be condensed to like 15 minutes and they're done.
So yeah, this is what the episode's all about. Is it started with like heist movies are stupid. So yeah.
But here's the problem, Dylan. They're making fun of heist movies. I haven't watched any of these heist movies because I hate heist movies.
But now you know, Sarah. You know, like if you just have a movie with the split screen, and someone says, "You son of a bitch, I'm in." That's all you need.
That's all we need to know.
Kit.
Yeah.
The problem is I know all the tropes of heist movies, and I know all the movies that are heist movies, so I avoid them because I know I'll hate them.
Yeah, I don't think we got into anything deep with like things.
They mentioned Ocean's 11 and Ocean's 12 so many.
They gave
I don't think
a hot take.
The things we were parodying were assembling the crew, the reveal with that device that they do, and then you son of a bitch, I'm in. Like those are the only 3 things that we talked about this whole time. I don't know if we're missing any deep reference. I'm also not. I've seen like the recent Ocean's movie. That's like it. I feel like
this. I also know feels like a very like late 90s, mid 2000s kind of thing.
I also know from like outside material that Dan Harmon, like, I don't think he hates heist movies, but he's had monologues about them. He's had monologues about them. Which
on the official podcast, the writer said that this episode started with a Harmontown podcast where Dan Harmon said, "I hate heist movies." So.
I mean, there's a really amazing video of him cannot stand "Now You See Me Too" because it's "Now You See Me" and they didn't do "Now You Don't" as the second.
Yeah, no,
title.
that's exactly.
Now you don't.
And he's just insanely so bad at it, and it's just like he's so like just the fact that I watched that I understand why
you saw the genesis of this episode. That is exactly what it was. Yeah,
if excellent preparation.
He is so viscerally angry at at the idea that "Now You See Me Too" exists that he just cannot he seems like he might explode at some point because it exists.
Yeah, I heard that was the genesis of episodes. That's funny that you've seen that before.
It's really.
Yeah, if you want to listen to the official podcast this episode, or writer Katie Delaney for this episode gives a good background on that and like how the episode comes to form and like how the writing process goes. I think it was pretty cool. Okay, let's just walk through the episode because there's so much here that we can jump in when you want to because it's just like joke. I agree. I felt like just on a level of like humor wise, I think episodes 1 and 2, I think they're strong. I think last episode especially was strong, but I think we were looking for like a very like jokes per minute funny type of episode, and I think this is like exactly.
This delivered.
Yeah, it delivered.
These are
sure.
jokes per minute. Yeah.
So I wanted like a very funny episode, and I think it was this. So we open. Rick and Morty are just doing they're doing their own heist with this. Morty's climbing the mountain, and Rick's like eating Arby's on the hover chair.
That was a good one.
Look, you're the guy that wanted epic adventure. I'm the guy with only one hover chair. And then later he's like, let's get 2 hover chairs. Yeah, so it's like
he's totally just like gaslighting Morty at this point.
Yeah, Rick is that's right. As we talked about the first podcast, Rick he just gaslights. That's all he does. Like this whole episode is about him gaslighting Morty. Yeah.
Oh my god, it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
or at least coercion.
Yeah, but we can laugh at it because it's not real, I guess.
I mean, also he's not trying to like be a dictator. He's just this asshole to like 2 people.
It's a smaller scale, yeah. It's
small. That's what I'm saying. It's a smaller scale than what we're used to.
I mean, there's also a joke where the robot destroys an entire planet and all the people living on it. And
okay,
it's funny,
yeah, they are dead.
That's true. Okay,
that's a lot for a petty thing.
But it was the tone. The tone was very lighthearted the entire time. It's an alien cliff. You can just say spider. Which last episode we had Space Mount Everest. I don't know. I feel like we're back and forth on this type of thing. Rick like catches him in the chair. Why didn't you do that before? I was eating and you're dirty.
I like that.
Yeah.
And then they put on anti-booby suits and they just walk through all the traps. It's a waste of snakes.
Yeah, I like the waste of snakes one.
Apparently episode 5 is about snakes. I heard that on the podcast. There's a snake episode coming. Looting the corpse, but there's the calling card from Miles Knightley, and Rick's like very upset. His adventures are 60% putting the crew together and 40% revealing the robbery already happens. Which is like a summary of this episode, I feel like. That's what they're parroting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then there's Heist Con.
Did you understand what the corpse said? Like, I did not.
Yeah, I had to rewind. I think that was maybe a flaw. They should have been clear what she was saying, but she was like, "Why do you rig the tomb to collapse on the person?"
Yeah, aren't you supposed to be protecting the person? Instead of destroying everything, you're protecting.
Yeah, I think that was not clear enough audio-wise, but okay, Heist Con. I like the concept of the Heist Con. And what we're doing, parodying cons here, I think it's pretty good. At one point, it's like, that's not the question line. I like them going in through the window with the laser.
Oh,
circle.
Yeah. Get so down with it.
Morty's reading what's there. There's a signing with Catherine's Alpha through Omega Joneses. Morty says he's writing the heist movie. Rick wants the professional badges and goes through great lengths to not have to get the guest badges.
He just doesn't want to pay.
No, it's a
psyche thing. With, like, find money, but he just doesn't want to pay.
No, it's his ego.
He doesn't want to give them money to a thing he doesn't support the existence of.
I don't even think it's clear that it's any less money. He just doesn't want to bruise his ego about being lesser than these people. And then he tries to sneak Morty in, but he gets like lasered.
Gives him the ointment.
Yeah, puts the ointment on.
Specific instructions.
10 to 12 minutes, and then later you see Morty transform into the thing. He's like, "God damn it, Morty, what'd I tell you?" That was another good payoff later. Like, I love that this episode's filled with little payoffs for things that came before it.
Question: how do you get off lotion?
Get off it? You rub it off. That's how you get it off.
Yeah, but I mean, like, in 10 minutes. But I mean, like, how is he supposed to? He's supposed to, like, scrape it off? Because it's, like, weird. That's really weird.
Okay.
We'll never know, Sarah, because he didn't even try.
He didn't get it off. We know he didn't get it off, so maybe you're right, that it was unrealistic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you get off all the lotion?
We're getting the crew together. We have Gleer, who's playing the piano. And then
I like this gag a lot, honestly, because it's just it's like whiplash.
like you said about payoff, Dylan, this is like the quickest like payoff ever.
It's like, nope,
he just
I'm in.
introduces himself and then he quits and he changes his name back.
Yeah, and so this are all like, you son of a bitch, I'm in. Rick Sanchez, yeah. We get Angie Flint with her fake hands. And we get Trucula.
Okay, this one was the
Trucula.
I liked Rick and Morty sitting there like, is that him? Is that him? No, obviously that's him. Like,
I like that. It seems like he forgot for a second. He's like, no, that is, of course that's him.
Like it's like Rick is the person driving the car, the kid in the back. So we're like, are we there yet? And Rick's just automatically saying no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a good comparison. And then he uses them to walk in. It's like, oh, that's it.
That's the job.
Yeah, that's the job. Here's Rick confronts Miles. We have the lab coat rip off Doctor Strange gag. Was that good, Sarah?
Oh no, I like that. I thought it was good.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Rick is a critic of the heisting arts. I like Rick confronting the audience too a few times. Your boos mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer.
What makes you cheer?
And then every breath I take without your permission boosts my self-esteem, he says too. But it's all like convoluted because he's controlling the audience, it reveals later.
Yeah.
So he's like doing a big show here.
This is all
The show is
performative
for
just
Morty. Yeah, it's all for Morty. Get in his head.
So not Showtime like the fake HBO one, like they say, yeah. Which by the way, this is the same company as HBO, so I feel like we were.
It is now. It might not have been when they, but they probably knew it was
unfairly
coming.
promoting HBO. But we probably get Netflix digs in there at the end, so I guess it's all on brand for the Time Warner conglomerate here. The loser joins the heist off with the crystal, and then Knightley's crew and three of they were all the people that Rick recruited, and then we get the first reveal of him recruiting all the people, and they already stole the skull. And then Rick's corresponding reveal that he built Heistatron to come up with adding one double cross to what Knightley would come up with, and he originally picked the crew members most likely to double cross him, and then Heistatron finds them after they steal a skull and makes them say, "You son of a bitch, I'm in." And we also see Morty working on the script during this part. He says, "I wrote an algorithm based on the 2 heist movies I slept through to automate a joyless process you call art." And then a second reveal where the whole audience is in his crew, because Heistatron was when people were in line was getting them on board, and then the whole audience steals every square inch of HeistCon, including ripping Miles to shreds.
Yeah.
I believe Rick here when he says he wasn't expecting that.
He's like
I don't know. Rick's pretty. He's behind every double cross. How could he not know? I think again, this is just for Morty's psychological response later.
I don't know.
His
Rick's
plan
really surprised.
He seems surprised.
Well, he's a good actor. That's how we got so far.
He at the very least was doing it for comedic effect. But I also think he was like, oh, that one's not on me. I was not intending. Like, first, you could have not been intending it, but it's still on you, Rick. Like that's
on you, Rick.
That's
still on
true.
you. Like he's trying to absorb
You
responsibility.
still did this.
Rick, also, if you think about the episode, not that the episode's supposed to be thought. Like, I don't think this episode starts with like, Rick's trying to get Morty to give up on his heist movie script. I think that comes later. Like, I think that's just like a little thing thrown at the end. But if you think about it from the lens of everything having been in service of Rick stopping Morty's script, it's like Heistatron destroys an entire planet and millions of people just for this. And like, that's real. So just for this nonsense plan of Rick's.
Pettiness knows no bounds.
This is arguably one of the episodes Rick is the most terrible of a human being in.
But also it's the most silly, so you don't think.
I know,
Right,
that's why I kind of hate that. It makes it hard to think about that too much.
That's why I kind of like Total Recall more, because it's completely absurd, but like they only kill like these horrible aliens and nothing else.
I think, I mean, I think this episode's not supposed to be really viewed in like,
it isn't
kind of type of context. Yeah.
But I mean, they all exist in the same world. But also, I'm really upset you didn't talk about Rick shitting in the bag. Like that is like.
Why did you want to talk about that?
I don't want to talk about that.
Michelle, it's the best part
Did that happen on screen? I know he like took out shit from the bag, but is that what happened? He shat in the bag.
Rick said he had to go to the bathroom. He took the bag.
Yeah, there's a line.
Okay.
It's like, Marty, take this goal. I gotta go for the bathroom for a second. He grabs the bag, so it's implied he did the deed.
There you go.
In the bag.
Okay. There we discussed it. I'm glad. And then we.
There you go.
We end the first part with Heistatron double crosses Rick. Rick's like, we gotta stop him from making all sentient life a part of his crew.
You son of a bitch, I'm in. I mean, it really desensitizes you to that line.
Yeah. It really does.
So this is it really is just the most absurd plot line that this is. Like the heist robot he builds is gonna make all of sentient life his crew members. It's yeah. Okay, so now we gotta assemble a crew to stop Heistatron. We got Professor Poopy Butthole. Ooh wee. Before the semester's over, you're gonna be real sick of that phrase.
He literally just wrote that on there to be like, sorry, this is my tick and you're gonna hate it.
It's probably a good thing.
He's preparing them. Yeah, that's good.
It's funny though, spelling out ooh-wee. He's talking about Maya Angelou. We get the payoff later with the classes, but he's a professor, and then he's like fighting off his class. And that's it. And then we didn't really need to come back to that, but we dig into that scene later. We get Hephaestus, Ventriloquiver. Any comments? No.
They exist. They're interesting. They're very random.
These are the most just one-off gag characters ever.
Yeah.
Elon Tusk at Tuscula.
Oh my god.
Tuscula.
They go to him because
they're just Tuskula.
Regular Elon was too controlling, so they go to Elon Tusk instead. I didn't even think that he was probably voiced by Elon Musk.
Yeah,
but then I saw the credits, and he was.
Yeah.
So he definitely was. Yeah, that's how big the show is. That you just get. Yeah.
Maybe that's why he's in it. Maybe they found out he was a fan of the show. Or like, what's like a way? I guess we could put him in without like really having it be about him. Oh, how about here? And then they did it.
Yeah,
because he has like nothing to do with the main plot, but he's still like there, but he's not too prominent.
Yeah, the impression I got from Katie Delaney on the podcast was that like they wrote the gag without like she didn't even know that Elon Musk was voicing him until like later, like way later. So presumably they wrote the gag first and then just happened to get him to voice Elon Tusk. But maybe Dan and Justin had it in mind the whole time. Who knows? Yeah, we're all just waiting for the Kanye appearance on Rick and Morty. That's what we're
oh my god!
Don't.
That's what all of was in the news.
This one hurt me enough.
Don't worry, Kanye's coming in his next season probably or something. Who knows?
Oh
we go okay, so then we go right from Elon Tusk to Heistatron heisting this planet's core.
Okay, I love this so much because this is what made me realize more than this "you son of a bitch, I'm in" line, like how kind of dumb heist movies are because it's just like applying movie logic to a whole planet. It's like, oh yeah, we're just here to fix like your plumbing. It's fine, and just like shoves it into the earth. Oh, we're a pizza person. Like, oh good, they didn't notice. Now we have to leave before they get suspicious, and the planet's like destroyed already. I thought that was very effective.
This is one of the stupidest things in Rick and Morty history. in a good way, but yeah, it's you think about the scene. It's this heist robot. And you can see menacing shots of him on the spaceship as he we're gonna put the giant hidden camera on Earth, and you see the news report.
He's trying to be casual,
delivering the pizza, and at the end he's like, "I think we got away with it."
Yeah, I think we got away with it.
As the whole planet's been destroyed.
Yeah. I forgot I think we got away with it. Line.
Yeah, it's so good.
Commence getting away before they get wise. Yeah, that's what he said.
They're all just floating dead.
They're all just floating dead there. Yeah. I love Heistatron's voice and delivery throughout that episode.
It's
especially,
really good.
I don't know. We could look up as we're going, but yeah, especially this scene. It's really amazing. Yeah, on the podcast, they're all talking about it. All the crew members, like, this is their favorite scene of the episode. They all loved it so much.
Oh, good. They did a good job.
Everyone talks about this scene. Like, okay. I mean, from an artistic perspective, I can see how it would be very notable, like doing the giant things on the planet and stuff. And
Yeah,
also
the animation.
on the podcast, the director for this episode said Brian Newton said they had to do like 900 assets for this one episode. Normally, like a show has like 15 assets, and like how way over the top the show is. So we appreciate the lengths the production goes in the
For like one-off jokes.
Really doesn't seem necessary that we for most.
It's not about what's necessary. They like the challenge.
Yeah,
it's like I don't know. I'm not going to go there, but it's just a lot. They do a lot.
Yeah, and everyone seems very happy on the podcast, at least. But I mean, it's like this is like a high quality show, so I like that they're putting in like going way over the top production wise for this type of show. I think that makes sense. Okay, so then we get Rick in the garage is like whatever plan they will this is a part of the episode where I'm like, oh my god,
it gets a little strange when it gets to the random stuff. I agree.
The random stuff, but this line I'm like, this line really sold me on what we're doing, honestly. It's like whatever plan we come up with is going to be canceled out by Heistatron's reveal that our plan was part of his plan all along.
Yes. Oh my god, I love this so much. Like this is such a good, like, layered mockery of the whole heist.
I think this is the best lampooning,
so
of the genre. Yeah. It's like, we can't plan anything, because then he's just going to inevitably reveal that it was part of his plan. So we just got to do random stuff. Yeah. I think that logic was so good to me. And he, like, brings out a chart, too, and is like, demonstrate, he picked the crew at random, and they start taking orders from Randotron. Let's get ready not to rumble. I bet you didn't see that coming. He devised Randotron's algorithm devised from the plots of 3 David Lynch movies I pretended to like to get my friends to shut up. I loved that. And Mr. Poobah, Professor Poobah. I don't really get it, but it sounds like that's the point. Rick's playing Minecraft while they wait, and back to Minecraft. I don't know why the show's obsessed with Minecraft now. I mean, it's only been in 2 episodes, but
it's only been 2 episodes. I don't know if that counts as an obsession.
But I mean, like, the last one was like the season finale.
It was the season finale, so it's
only like 3 episodes.
2 of the last 4, yeah. So that's a period. There's a reveal they've already been heisted, and the Earth is in Heistatron's giant spaceship. It's just this tiny thing, and
I love that, like, Randotron's, like, chooses this moment, and Rick's like, no, this isn't a good time. He's like, that's why it's the perfect time for random.
He's just like collecting planets now. Like, what did Rick program this robot with to have the capability to do all this?
Everyone just did the crew.
His crew is I guess he is
helping.
I guess once he can mind control people, you can do anything.
Yes, everyone in the universe to help now.
What you don't see is that the whole ship is powered by like people on like hamster wheels. Like, it's just like 900 trillion people on hamster wheels.
I like that headcanon. That makes sense to me. This episode also works as like a consequence of Rick just haphazardly making robots all the time and stuff. It's like, this might happen once if he makes them too smart. I don't know. As Elon Tusk comments, I guess. It's the danger of AI. Random darts, everyone. My highlights were, like this montage of 2 people doing random stuff. Morty, like, subscribed to a History of New York podcast and then threw his phone away. I don't know why,
got a sock puppet and fell into the road to play with it, I guess.
I just like Morty was subscribing to a podcast as part of this random montage. And then, Mr. Poopy Buttle's running a cattle auction. Yeah, that was probably the funniest part.
I think that was a really good line read. I really like the line read.
He's just saying nonsense. He's like, yeah.
I can't even repeat it. It's just really good.
No, he wasn't even saying anything, but it's great. Yeah. Okay, then we have Rick confronts Heistatron.
Oh my god. This besides like the planet heist is my other favorite part.
Okay, well, it's so stupid. Let's go through all the reveals.
Oh my god.
Rick swapped. He's like, Heistron's like, oh, is it that you swapped me and Randotron's brains? And then Heistron's like, I countered that by switching places.
Switching them, yeah. That would have been smart if only I hadn't known that.
And then Rick's reveal, he changed the labels on them.
But what? He didn't like change anything in the computer. He just like swapped out like the label maker thing.
Yeah, and then during this scene we get Morty like, hey Rick, I was thinking maybe we could like raid a temple and go on an epic adventure later today. Morty, get on my head. I know, just the temple. Grab a couple of hover chairs on the way there. Yeah, I just love inserting stuff like that references the past episode in there. Like your brain, and then we get back to the reveals. Your brain explodes when you hit 6 levels of contrivance. Then we get initiate clap sequence. Which is still there.
Because again, it's monotone. The robot's monotone, just like clap, clap, clap.
It's great. Reveal Heistatron's chip was inside Randotron, so they're reversed, and he killed Randotron just now. And he wasn't being random. He actually specifically brought them all in. And then Heistatron's like, I programmed you, Rick, with my nanobots. Which I like. We kind of explained how he was mind controlling people. He had nanobots, and
no, they showed that at the whatever.
Yeah, they did show it. I was unclear I was unclear it was nanobot technology. Maybe I should have gotten that, but
yeah.
that's what I'm saying to you. Though you believe what I programmed you to believe, and then they repeat, I programmed you to believe that for 2 hours. And it appears the only perfect heist is one that was never written, and he explodes, and that's the resolution. I was like, what? Like, that's okay, that's it?
And then there's like 3 minutes left in the episode.
And then
more happened.
Morty's like, not a good time for this, Rick, but I have a pitch meeting in half an hour at Netflix. And then Rick's like, oh yeah, let's do it. And Morty pitches his heist movie. And he's like, do you think this is going, is it going bad? It's going, Jesus Christ, this is great.
Everyone's so into it.
Yeah. I like the Netflix executive.
I like that they were really into it. Like, I think it just shows just how stupid heist movies are that they were really into it. Like, that's the best part.
I mean, yeah.
Because like the way Morty's describing it is like the worst way you could do a pitch. It's like, there's
probably
this plan,
supposed to generally
then it turns out to be the other guy's plan, but then...
But I mean, like, what else is there to heist movies?
That's the point. Yes, that's the point.
So good this episode. It's like, you start off with the heist being kind of fun, but by now it's just like there have been so many heists upon heists. It's just this garbled like mess of nonsense, and the way Morty boils it down to his pitch, like that must be what people who hate heist movies see when they see a heist movie. It's like that description, and that's why it's so perfect.
Yeah. And also, like, obviously, a big parody about Netflix loving any pitch they get here. A lot of Netflix parodying going on. And which at this point seems like an old joke, and now we've moved on to Netflix actually cutting down on their content, and
there's a different complaint now.
So this is like very much a year to 2 year ago joke, but that's what happens with this show. He's starting to think heists are really dumb now. Man, it's as if someone stole his enthusiasm for his own idea. And then you shot out Rick looking smug with the sunglasses and the lollipop.
No, I love it so much because like, Rick's just such a dick, and where he's like, "No, it's fine. Like, who needs dreams? I'll just go on adventures with you forever and do whatever you say." And then you just look at Rick, and he's like, "Okay, Morty, if that's what you want." It's just the perfect ending. It's so funny.
Rick looking smug is so good, so good at the end of the episode. So just this smash cut to him looking smug in the parking lot is so good, and then cut to the last reveal from 2 weeks earlier. He's frustrated. Morty's spending all of his time on this heist movie. He missed the last 3 adventures. Summer's like, 5 of my friend got Netflix deals. It's a very achievable goal.
It's a very achievable goal.
Rick's like, I'm not going to lose, Morty. And Beth says, if Morty ever loses on a single dream, it had better be because of his own disillusionment.
Oh my God.
Rick's
like,
it is a Beth line. And then Rick's like, this episode is like Rick being a complete jackass to the family, but he's like, it's also keeping the structure of him being like subservient to the family because he's playing. He has the idea by playing within Beth's rules,
twisting the words into a way that he can have a loophole, and it's hilarious.
So it's like, Rick is like way all powerful in this episode, but also comes from him being it comes from him being confined and having rules, which is so very satisfying. Yeah, like he needs to be contained.
I hope we get an episode where like Beth like starts giving him rules, but like it's really, really complicated with them to try to control him.
They try to stop him from
like it goes into like programmer like language like stuff, like just trying to get him to stop doing things. He's like saying, like, how can I do this still? How can I still do what I want to do?
Yeah, challenging Rick to like I could see something like that. I'm within like a context of something else or something.
Yeah, no, and it's not like a full episode thing, but like I feel like it could be a one-off thing
like that. Yeah, and they're ferrying Earth back on the ship. It's like, yeah, this actually happens.
Yeah, they got to move Earth back.
How'd they get the moon? Was the moon tethered too?
I don't think they stole the moon. I think they're only interested in like real planets. Right?
Oh, is he not there? Okay, so the moon's just.
Why did he steal other planets? Why did Hysetron have other planets collected?
We will never understand
the whims of Hysetron.
Okay, I like that idea more. I like saying we don't get it, and that's fine.
Yeah, we just don't get it.
It's too smart for us.
Too smart.
It's too smart. Morty says, "Who needs dreams? I'll just hang out with you and go on adventures and do whatever you want to do forever." Rick, okay. I mean, if that's what you want.
That's what you want. Just the way he says it. Kills me.
I love everything with the end of the episode.
Yeah,
it's really funny. And then we have a stinger. Let's talk about the stinger because I'm trying to analyze like why we did this because the stinger's very long. Like
I don't think you need to analyze it. I think they just did it because they felt like it. I don't think there's a lot.
But I have. This might be the longest stinger.
Yeah.
I have a TV critic now. Like this episode is just so fast paced, and so like you do the opposite in the stinger for effect, and you drag it out. Like I think maybe that's why, like comedic timing wise, like this is the opposite of the episode. This is a very dragged out conversation, one joke thing with Mr. Boo Boo Butthole. He's on the roof with Rick and Morty, and there could be a twister, and Morty's twisting the Rubik's Cube. I guess we're just doing twist things. That's my interpretation. Rick and Morty hired his grad students to attack him to test his karate skills. And he's like, why did you guys do that? Yeah, looking back, that didn't make any sense. He's like, was it an emergency? Why did you guys do that? Took less training than you think. Maybe there's some correlation with their passion for African-American women's studies. With their karate skills, and Maya Angelou did personify both acquiescence and perseverance. Ooh-wee, that's exactly the kind of connection I'd love to explore in my class. Too bad I just lost my job for putting my students in the hospital. This is so random. Like,
I don't know. I think my favorite part of the scene is just Morty like playing with a Rubik's Cube in the background for like no reason, just like there.
Not saying anything.
Like, why is Mr. Poo? Yeah, like, he's there. Why is Mr. Poo Butthole teaching African American women studies?
I feel like you start asking these questions, it leads to nowhere satisfying. So I would caution you not to go down here.
It's like what's the opposite of what you'd expect Mr. Poo Butthole to teach? I guess.
But Dylan, this hit me really close to home because I totally had an old white guy teaching this specific class at my school. I went to for college.
Yeah, is it a parody of that type of thing?
Yeah, no, it is. And it's just like, I was definitely thinking that during the class. Wait, why are you the professor?
This is the most
topics of this class.
This is the most LOL random stinger. I feel like it had something to do with the episode, but like
only very tangentially.
I don't know. It took me 3 tries, but I think I love the stinger. Like I think on the 3rd time, I'm like, oh, this is actually great. I don't know. I think it just works. I do think it works really well contrasting with the episode, like, timing wise. And like, it is kind of a good ending to like a very fast paced episode. I don't know. Michelle, what, was there anything else you loved from the episode?
Oh man. I mean, no, all my faves we touched on. I love the slowly building insanity of high stuff. And, like, I'm gonna hear you son of a bitch, I'm in on repeat in my head for a while.
Oh, I'm glad.
And that's a little bit of a curse. But again, it reminds me of, like, the bitch line with Scary Terry, which, like, just became such a ridiculous joke the more we heard it. So I kind of like it in that way.
That's true. It's another connection with Lawnmower Dog with the bitch thing. Yeah. Very silly episode, and in a great way though. Do you want Rick and Morty to be this silly all the time?
I mean, I think part of the joy of it was just that it was so unexpected. And I mean, I think Rick and Morty's been silly in a lot of ways. I feel like I prefer this kind of silliness to just like maybe more gross out humor.
definitely agree.
Which it is also done quite a bit and seems to enjoy a lot. So I think, like, for me, this is just more my speed.
Okay. And I mean, unfortunately, people like that because they're like Pickle Rick. People really like that episode. It's like,
yeah,
it's a lot of gross out humor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think Pickle Rick has other types of humor as well. Like
it does too.
the initial joke with the pickle thing, I think, is like not that type. But yeah, Sarah, where have you landed after our discussion?
I like this episode more. I don't think it's like my favorite, but I mean, I liked it. I don't know. I didn't get to like really like work through my thoughts of the first two episodes at the amount I worked through this one, so I'm not really. I don't know. I'm not ready to say if I like this one more than the first two because they're all just very different.
That's
but
fair.
I like this. I like this one a lot. I can't take this type of episode every week. I can't do this every week.
No more heist jokes.
But it's me like the silliness. Like I love this silliness when it's every now and then. When it's every if every episode of Rick and Morty was this, I think it would get really boring really fast.
Yeah, I think in general the episode should do more of this type of episode, I guess. But I agree, like, one reason the show's great is it can do a lot of different types of things. And this is a great contrast to last week, which had a lot of emotional depth for Rick. I think I just think, again, I think it really is. I just want more sci-fi concepts. Like, it's just... Yeah, you made that point and we didn't get back to that. That's a good point. This is more of a genre parody of something that exists on Earth versus, like, taking advantage of this being a sci-fi show. Like, I guess the sci-fi parts are, like, the robot and nanobots. They're done in
service of the parody.
Yeah, it's done in service. There's, like, a giant spaceship and takes Earth. But, yeah, it's all tangential, I guess, to the other stuff.
I think if this was a sci-fi... Like, if this was just as silly, but it was a sci-fi thing, like, I probably would love this episode a lot more. But it's just, if we're going to do silly episodes, let's do them like Total Recall, where we're about, like, weird memory sci-fi stuff, where that's really cool. Obviously, that's, like, lightning in a bottle. Like, you can't do that every week. But, I mean, like, I like the sci-fi concepts a lot more.
I would also say sci-fi is also, like, a genre or something, the way heist movies are, like, a very subgenre. So, I mean, there's a reason I think that they do both kinds.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's at its core, it's a sci-fi show, though. So I think that's it.
That is also true. They sure like being in space, so
space and dimensions
you're right,
and stuff.
Dylan.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine though. Like, we do primarily do sci-fi stuff, and this is a rare going to a different genre, but maybe the show's done it other times. I don't know. I understand that take. I guess with the sci-fi stuff makes sense to me. I personally really like this. I think this and episode 2 are both really good. I'll take this one as my best this season. So whatever you want to say, episode 2 with the emotional stuff, like I'm fine with that too.
I mean, there's only 3, so there's not like a lot of comparing and contrasting we can do. But
yeah, and I mean, episode 1 also had the fascist stuff, which was also amazing. So like, we've gotten some good stuff from every episode, so it's really good. And then 2 weeks from now, because we're off for next week for some reason. Thanksgiving, but Thanksgiving doesn't extend. It doesn't extend to Sunday night, so I don't know. That doesn't make sense.
What?
no.
Maybe they gave them like a 4-day
week.
weekend or something for the holiday.
Like, I don't understand how Ruby can still air on Saturday.
Okay, don't bring it. These are different scales of show we're talking here. This is like one of the biggest shows in the world.
But the thing is, like, they work. Ruby usually works. They work through the week before to get it done.
I think these episodes are done. I don't think it's like a crew schedule, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Next week or 2 weeks from now is Claw and Hoarder special Rick Tim's Morty.
What a title! What does that even mean?
The preview is just all about Rick taking on a dragon. So
okay, all right.
He's also like, I always slay queen or something.
No.
Like he says
God,
that.
No.
He says that.
No, take that away. Absolutely.
That was the best part of the preview. I don't know. Because I think he's talking about slaying a dragon. He's like, I always slay. Yeah.
Is this what the future is, though, for episode titles? Just extend them as long as possible, because every other episode title is
getting worse and worse. Yeah, I think so.
It does seem to be getting worse.
Like, at least it's not Total Eclipse of the Heart. Like, at least there's that.
Okay, I don't know if the show.
Are we gonna get Total Eclipse of the Heart at some point?
We might. I mean, Sarah, that sounds like a title that would fit in really well already. So
episode 5 is Rattle Star Rick Lactica. So there you go.
I'm excited for snakes. I'm legit excited for snake episode.
Oh my god!
Dragon episode, then snakes episode. That's what we know. I mean, they might be complete diversions, and it could be completely something else with the show. So who knows?
That's true.
Yeah, we're excited. Whatever it is, we'll be back 2 Mondays from now to talk about the Claw and Hoarder episode. And okay, I don't know. I'm not going to try to figure out what the episode's about, but the title is hinting it's at a certain direction, but it could not go in that direction. And,
yeah.
There's
and
two
dragons.
options: lean into it or don't.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, which means it could be one thing or it could be literally anything else.
Could be just anything else. Yeah. Okay. Let us know what you thought of this episode 3 of season 4 Rick and Morty. Overlyanimated.com, youtube.com/overlyanimated. Our comments. You can talk about with us on our Discord at overlyanimated.com/Discord. And if you enjoyed this, consider supporting us on our Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thanks to all of our current patrons, especially our patron podcast, Britt, aka Opal, and thanks as always to our patron executive producers, Ryan, Steve, Alex, Beatrice, Hugh, Michael, and Needle. Check out our other stuff at overlyanimated.com. I think I mentioned last week we wrapped up our BoJack Horseman coverage. We also have coverage of other shows. The aforementioned Ruby. I don't know that there's a crossover.
I don't think there's any crossover, but
maybe we're crossover.
Okay, there's probably some, but I mean, it's probably not a lot.
Yeah, there you go. Other shows too. Overlyanimated.com. Thanks for listening, guys. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.